Greetings! Mantaray79 here, and welcome back to another deck profile video for the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game. In today's video, the deck profile we're going to be making one for is a D standard formats, Brandt Gates, Blitz CEO Welstra with cards from D-BT11. Alrighty, let's get started. First up, the right deck. So first off, we start off with the right deck. For the cards in this right deck, we have the Grade 0, Blitz Mechanic Wharton, starting unit. The Grade 1, the Blitz Programmer Strazer. Grade 2, Blitz Technology Researcher, Uber. And the Grade 3, Blitz CEO, Welstra. The starting unit, Grade 0, Blitz Mechanic Wharton. His skill is, when this unit is ridden on top of, if you went second, draw a card. So if you're the second to go in the game and if you ride on top of him, you draw a card, pretty much a standard skill for the starting units of the D standard format Cardfight Vanguard trading card game. So next up, the Grade 1, Blitz Programmer Strazer. His skill is auto. When ridden on top of, search your deck or hand for up to one Grade 1 product card and put into your order zone. If you search from your deck, shuffle your deck. If you put from your hand, draw a card. So for Strazer, just by riding him onto your Vanguard, you can secure a Grade 1 product onto your order zone to use for your later game strategies. The Grade 2, Blitz Technology Researcher Uber. His skills are, the first skill, action, as a Vanguard, once per turn. Cost, Soul Blast 1, if the cost has been paid. Choose a product from your order zone and operate it. And the second skill of Uber, auto, when ridden on top of, put a product card from your order zone into the drop zone, then search your deck or hand for up to one Grade 2 product card, put it into your order zone. If you search from your deck, shuffle your deck. If you put from your hand, draw a card. So for Uber, his first skill lets you operate a product card from your order zone just by Soul Blasting 1, which works well with the Grade 1 Blitz Programmer Strazer skill, since riding on top of him gets you a Grade 1 product out from your hand or deck, so you'll be able to always have the opportunity to use the first skill of Uber. And the second skill, just by riding on top of him, you get to replace your order card from the order zone with one Grade 2 product from either your hand or deck, thus allowing you to continue building up to your main strategy for the Welstra decks. The Grade 3, Blitz CEO Welstra, the main Grade 3 to ride in this deck. His skills are, the first skill, auto, as a Vanguard. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, choose one of your products in your order zone and operate it. And the second skill, auto, as a Vanguard. When one of your products is operated, this unit gets plus 5,000 power until the end of the turn. So for Welstra, his skills are pretty powerful. For the first skill, just by attacking, you get to operate one of your product orders in the order zone for almost no cost. And the second skill of Welstra, every time a product is operated, you get to add 5,000 power to your Vanguard. And the best part about this second skill, it's stackable. So if you're able to operate a product on your order zone multiple times in the same turn, you can keep stacking the 5,000 power to your Welstra, making a more powerful Vanguard to attack with. And with that, we just about finished explaining the deck, the right deck. So next, let's get on to the main deck. And now, for the Grade 1 lineup. For the Grade 1s of this deck, we are playing 3 Grade 1, Blitz Mechanic, Iskra. 3 Grade 1, Outer Space Guardian. 4 Grade 1, Detonation Mutant, Bubble Mine. 4 Grade 1, Planet Wall Dragon. And finally, 2 Grade 1 Set Order Product Mobile Kennel and Garten. The Grade 1 Blitz Mechanic Iskra. Skill Action as a rear guard. If you did not operate a product this turn, cost Counterblast 1 and rest this unit. If the cost is paid, choose a product from your order zone and operate it. Activate its operate ability. So for Iskra, she's one of the support cards for the Welstra deck with her skill. As long as the conditions of the skill are met and you pay the cost, you can operate any product card in your order zone to use its effect for your later game strategy. The Grade 1 Outer Space Guardian. Skill Auto as a rear guard. When this unit boosts a Grade 3 or greater unit, if your opponent's Vanguard is Grade 3 or greater, cost Soul Blast 1. If the cost is paid, this unit gets plus 10,000 power until end of battle. So for Outer Space Guardian, it's a pretty good card to play in your Brandt Gate Nation decks with its skill. When boosting a Grade 3 unit like a Vanguard or rear guard, as long as the conditions of the skill are met and you pay the cost, Outer Space Guardian can then serve as a potential 18,000 point booster from the back row. The Grade 1 Detonation Mutant Bauble Mine. Skill Auto as a rear guard. At the end of the battle, this unit boosted. If your order zone has a set order, cost, put this unit into your soul. If the cost is paid, countercharge 1. So for Bauble Mine, another good card to play in your Brandt Gate Nation decks with its skill after boosting, regardless of the attack hits or not, as long as the conditions of the skill are met. And if you don't mind moving Bauble Mine from your rear guard into your soul, not only do you get to build up your soul for later soul blast, but to also refund your counter blast for later skills. The Grade 1 Planet Wall Dragon. Sentinel Perfect Guard. Skills: first skill, Continuous Sentinel. Second skill, Auto. When this unit is put in the Guardian Circle, choose one of your units, and it cannot be hit until end of battle. If your hand has 2 or more cards, choose a card from your hand and discard it. So for Planet Wall Dragon, it's a perfect guard for the Brandt Gate Nation. Like any other perfect guard in the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game, it features the same skill and activation. When used to guard with and discarding a card from your hand, you can block one enemy attack. But Planet Wall also features an ability unique to all these standard format perfect guards. When used to guard with, while you have less than 2 cards in hand, you will not have to pay the usual discard 1 cost, making Planet Wall a potential no-cost perfect guard in desperate, last resort situations. The Grade 1 Set Order Product Mobile Kennel and Garten. Skills: first skill, after a set order is played, put into your order zone. Second skill, Auto. When this card is put from a hand or the order zone to your drop zone during your turn, put this card into your order zone or soul. And third skill, Operate Auto from the order zone. When this card is operated, call this card as a 10,000 power, 1 critical normal unit with boost to an open rearguard circle, and put that unit into the order zone at the end of the turn. So for Engarten, it's one of the main product cards to be played in your Welstra deck. With its skills, the second skill, whenever Engarten is discarded from your hand or retired from your order zone, you can instead redeploy to the order zone or soul, giving you a Engarten in the order zone to potentially operate with, or another card in your soul to soul blast with. And the third skill, when operated, you can then turn your Engarten into a 10,000 point attacker for the front row or a 10,000 point booster for the back row. And with that, we just about covered the deck's Grade 1 lineup. Now let's get on to the Grade 2 lineup. And now for the Grade 2 lineup. For the Grade 2s of this deck, we're playing 4 Grade 2s, Operate Master, Freiheit, and 4 Grade 2, Set Order, Product, Assault Flight Carrier, Lubizal. The Grade 2, Operate Master Freiheit, Skills: first skill, Auto. When this unit is placed on the rearguard circle, if your order zone has a set order, cost Counterblast 1 and discard a card from your hand. If the cost been paid, search your deck for up to 1 card of the same card name as your Vanguard, or up to 1 product card, reveal it and put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. If you have a Vanguard with Welstra in its card name, choose up to 1 product card from your hand and put it into the order zone. Second skill, auto as a rear guard. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, if you have a Vanguard with Welstra in its card name, cost Soul Blast 2. If the cost from hate, choose a product card from your order zone and operate it. So for Fry Heights is a support card for the Welstra decks, the first skill. Just by calling to the rear guard while a set order is active on your order zone, you can pay the cost of Counterblast 1, discard a card from your hand to search your deck for either another copy of your Vanguard or another product card and add it to your hand. And then after the skill is activated, if your Vanguard is Welstra, you can immediately play any product card from your hand straight to your order zone. So for the first skill, it's a good way to not only secure another product card to play into your order zone, but to also secure a Persona Ride if you're at grade 3 when you use this skill. And the best part about this first skill, if your Vanguard is Welstra, after adding the card to your hand from the skill, you have the chance to add any product card, including Freischütz Maximum, from your hand straight to your order zone, thus securing you a Freischütz Maximum, which normally cannot be played without relying on other card effects to add to the order zone, ready in your order zone to play later in the game. And the second skill, when attacking the opponent's Vanguard, if your Vanguard is Welstra, by paying a Soul Blast of 2, you can operate a card on your order zone. So for the second skill, it's another support skill for the Welstra and product cards. Just by attacking the opponent's Vanguard, as long as you don't mind paying the cost of Soul Blast 2, you can choose any product order in your order zone and operate it to activate its skill. And the grade 2, set order, product, Assault Flight Carrier Lubazol, its skill, first skill, after a set order is played, put into your order zone, auto. When this card is put into your order zone, if you have a Vanguard of Blitz in its card name, draw a card and Soul Charge 1. Second skill, operate auto from the order zone. When this card is operated, if it is your main phase, look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Choose up to 1 unit card from among them with a grade less than or equal to your Vanguard. Call to rear guard circle, shuffle your deck. If it is your battle phase, draw a card. So for Lubazol, it's one of the product cards meant to be played in your Welstra decks. The first skill, just by deploying this card onto your order zone, if your Vanguard has the word Blitz in its name, you can draw a card and Soul Charge 1. So for this first skill, just by simply playing this card into your order zone, you can not only restock your hand with more cards, but also Soul Charge 1, giving you more cards to Soul Blast with later on. Any second skill, when operated from the order zone, it has 2 different abilities depending on which phase you activate it. If activated during the main phase, you have the chance to check the top 5 cards of your deck for a unit card whose grade is equal or less than your Vanguard and call to the rear guard circle. And if you've chosen to operate it during the battle phase, you can draw a card. So for the second skill, it's not only a good way to fill out your rear guards if you choose to operate it from the main phase, but it's also a good way to restock your hand of more cards if you choose to operate it during the battle phase. And with that, we just about covered the deck's grade 2 lineup. And now for the grade 3 lineup. And now for the grade 3 lineup. For the grade 3s of this deck, we have 3 Blitz CEO Welstras and 3 Mobile Fortress of Obliteration Freischütz Maximum. So for the grade 3 Blitz CEO Welstra, we already more or less explained his skill and card effects during the ride deck part of this video, so let's skip ahead to the other grade 3 of this deck. Mobile Fortress of Obliteration Freischütz Maximum. Its skills are, first skill, continuous, you cannot play this card, and operate, auto, order zone. When this card is operated, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. Choose one of your opponent's vanguards and it gets power minus 5,000 power until the end of the turn. And then counterblast 1 and return a rear guard to your hand. If the cost has been paid, you may call this card as a 23,000 power, 1 critical normal unit to an open rear guard circle as stand. If you called a card, put that unit in the order zone until the end of the turn. So for Freischütz Maximum, he's the main grade 3 normal order to play in this deck. But just by operating him, you can reduce your opponent's Vanguard power by 5,000 power and retire one of their rear guards. And the best part is, by playing a counterblast 1 and giving up a rear guard, he can serve as a 23,000 power attacker on his own from the front row. and then at the end of the turn, he goes back to the order zone, so you won't have to worry about your opponent retiring it during their turn. So overall, the Freischütz Maximum is the must-have card for the Blitz CEO Welstra decks. And with that just about explains the deck's grade 3 lineup. Next, let's get on to the trigger lineup. And now for the trigger lineup. For the triggers of this deck, we are playing 1 grade 0, Star Dragon, Deity of Infinitude, Elder Ref, over trigger. 4 grade 0, Patrol Robo, Decor Cop, critical trigger. 4 grade 0, Chain Lie Cluster, critical trigger. 3 grade 0, Cardinal, Draco, and Pyro, front trigger. 2 grade 0, Lady Healer of the Creaking World, heel trigger. And 2 grade 0, Whistling Arrow of Recursion of the Fold, heel trigger. The grade 0, Star Dragon, Deity of Infinitude, Elder Ref, over trigger. Skill, trigger, additional effect, double the power and critical of all of your front row units until the end of the turn. Increase to double its power and critical when activated. So for Elder Breath, it's the over trigger for the Brandt Gate Nation. Like any other over trigger in the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game, it features the same skill and activation. When revealed during a drive check or damage check, you get 100 million power and draw a card, but it also features an ability unique to it alone. When revealed during a drive check on your turn, you can double the power and critical of all front row units, Vanguard and Rearguard included, thus giving you more power and critical to potentially pressure or finish off your opponent with. The grade 0, Patrol Robo, Decor Cop, critical trigger. Skill, auto as a rear guard. At the end of the battle, this unit boosted. Cost, put this unit into your soul. If the cost is paid, choose one of your units, and it gets plus 2,000 power until end of turn. So for Decor Cop, a powerful critical trigger to play in your Brandt Gate Nation decks. With its skill, after boosting the attack, regardless if the attack hits or not, as long as you don't mind moving Decor Cop from your rear guard into your soul, not only can you build up your soul for later soul blast, but to also give your remaining attackers in the field, Vanguard and rear guard, a little extra power to work with. The grade 0, Cardinal, Draco, and Pyro, front trigger. Skill, continuous as a guardian. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, this unit gets plus 5,000 shield. So for Pyro, a powerful front trigger to play in your Brandt Gate Nation decks. With its skill, when used to guard with while the conditions to the skill are met, you can turn your Pyro into a potential 20,000 point shield on his own. The grade 0, Lady Healer of the Creaking World, heel trigger. Skill, auto, when this unit is put in the Guardian Circle, if your opponent's attacking unit has attacked 2 or more times this turn, this unit gets plus 15,000 shield until end of battle. Active if this battle is his second attack this turn or more. So for Lady Healer of the Creaking World, a powerful heal trigger to play in your Brandt Gate Nation decks. With her skill, when used to guard with while the conditions of her skill are met, you can then turn your Lady Healer into a potential 25,000 point shield on her own. Ideally, Lady Healer of the Creaking World is a counter heal, best played against opponents who play decks that specialize in restanding and attacking multiple times their units, Vanguard or rear guard. And then the grade 0, Whistling Arrow of Recursion of a Fold, heel trigger. Skill, auto, when this unit is put in the Guardian Circle, if the attacking unit's critical is 2 or greater, and its critical is increased by a non-trigger effect ability, or its original critical is 2 or greater, this unit gets plus 15,000 shield until end of battle. So for Avafold, another powerful heal trigger to play in your Brandt Gate Nation decks. With its skill, when used to guard with while the conditions of the skill are met, you can turn your Avafold into a potential 25,000 point shield on his own. Ideally, Avafold is a counter heal best played against opponents who play decks that specialize in increasing their attacking units critical, either their Vanguard or rear guard, by skill or card effect. And of that, we just about covered the deck's trigger lineup. For the triggers of this deck, we are playing 1 over trigger, 8 critical triggers, 3 front triggers, and 4 heel triggers. And now, after having just explained the deck's build and card effects, let's get on to the deck's main playstyle. So for the main playstyle of this deck, first you just ride your ride line normally from grade 0 to 3, all the while using your Vanguard skill to deploy your product orders. Then by the time you ride to grade 3 Welstra, try to call at least 1 or 2 fry heights to the front row, use their skills to deploy fry shots maximum to your order zone. Then in your back row, try to secure maybe 1 Iskra, and on the left or right columns, try to secure at least 1 or at least 2 outer space guardians on either your left or right column. Then in the battle phase, use the skills of fry heights later to operate fry shots maximum. Then also use Welstra skill as well to operate fry shots maximum. Then use maximum skill to deploy maximum as a rear guard. When you call fry shots maximum to the rear guard, make sure it's on a circle with outer space guardian in the back row. Then when it's time to attack fry shots maximum, boost the outer space guardian using its skill to plus another 10,000 power, giving your fry shots maximum more power to work with when it's time to pressure or finish off the opponent. So again, the main playstyle of this deck is just to ride until grade 3 Welstra, then use Fry Heights' skill to deploy Fry Shots maximum. Then for the battle phase, just attack 1 rear guard first, then make sure the first rear guard attack is the one that's in front of Outer Space Guardian, leave Outer Space as standing. Then when you attack with Welstra or another Fry Heights, use its skill to operate Fry Shots maximum, return the already attacking rear guard back to your hand, and deploy Fry Shots maximum on the rear guard in the same column as a standing Outer Space Guardian. Then in the next battle, when you attack with Fry Shots maximum, you can take advantage of Outer Space Guardian's skill to give more power to Fry Shots maximum. And with that, we just about covered the deck's main playstyle. And now, after having just explained the deck's build, card effects, and main playstyle, first up I want to say thank you to all the viewers for watching today's video, and to please stay tuned for more videos I plan to upload again in the near future. I also hope you all show support by liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing to my videos and channel. And with that, I say goodbye.